Hi, Jonathan York from Bay Financial Partners, looking at the investment markets. It's going to be a really pretty big week for the US market this week with the jobs data at the end of the week. So a lot of eyes are going to be on this data after the April number really was pretty poor. Came in at just 266. That was expected to be around sort of 700,000. There was also a downward revision to the March number as well, which came in at over 900,000 and was revised down to 770. So for May's data, they're looking for around 674,000 jobs created. Now, certainly as the US, is gradually sort of reopening, travel restrictions lifted for the Memorial holiday. Certainly, quite a few more people were traveling. Also, as well, obviously, the vaccination regime is rolling out pretty well. So, given that, they are looking for a pickup in jobs, but it's still quite interesting. It's still about 8 million jobs less than pre-COVID levels. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this sort of all plays out, because certainly the US economy, it looks in a reasonably strong position, but I say at the moment it's that jobs data that really needs to start pushing on now, and those new jobs being created to keep the economy pushing on. But obviously all that is sort of COVID related, and sort of dependent on the fact that the vaccines continue to get distributed, and they continue to sort of get on top of the virus. Now, just on COVID, quite interesting in Brazil. One town there sort of experimented with vaccinating all of the adult population, and they've seen a vast reduction in COVID cases, like 70-80% fall. Which maybe does offer a little bit of hope, because certainly in Brazil the virus has really been running rampant out there, and really does point to potentially a little bit of sort of hope and a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Certainly with the economy sort of reopening, oil's still holding a reasonable bid, sort of 65 and change now in WTI, and again, just going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays through, and then the Northern Hemisphere summer. Because certainly OPEC still has plenty of sort of supply up its sleeve to be able to distribute to the market. EU still trying to gradually sort of reopen. Still, a few sort of major hotspots. Germany's still under a little bit of an issue out there, but certainly some of the southern European countries are still hoping now to sort of gradually ease the restrictions as we go into the summer months, and obviously the holiday sort of dollars, euros coming down to be spent in their local economies. The UK really has done pretty well on COVID, and we're sort of gradually looking to sort of ease restrictions and potentially have the country reopened by sort of end of June. That potentially has a bit of a question mark now as the sort of Indian variant starts to sort of spread through the community. Cases there in the last week nearly doubled. But on a positive note, the UK's had the first day where there was no COVID death since March 2020. And obviously they're well along the road on the vaccination program as well. Close on sort of 60% of the population has now been vaccinated. But closer to home in Australia, the Melbourne flare-up, is really getting sort of quite serious. Potentially, there was a sort of case that was in the community for potentially a week before sort of testing positive and coming forward and sort of self-isolating. So Melbourne obviously in lockdown, and potentially that's now going to be extended past the weekend when it was supposed to finish, as they're really just trying to get on top of this latest outbreak. Certainly, if they can get on top of it, the Australian economy still seems pretty well placed. Certainly, there's pretty high demand out there for sort of commodities and minerals. Iron ore is really sort of leading the charge, well above $200 per ton. And that's obviously not what the government really wanted, because at present they're still sort of, I think, certainly behind the eight ball on the vaccination rollout. Potentially now, for the rest of the population, that is looking more like sort of September, October, when probably it should have been sort of July, August time. House prices showing little sign of sort of abating really as well, but it's really down to sort of lack of supply. The current sort of supply of houses for sale is around a 40-year low. Now, so it is a good time to check those KiwiSaver balances just to make sure you've contributed enough to get that maximum government contribution. If you're unclear on what those numbers are, so go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz. Obviously in this low interest rate environment, it is pretty tough out there for income. There is a bond out there from Infotel, 6 years, minimum rate will be 3.6%. Now, if you're interested in that or any other income options, go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz for lots of interesting articles, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.